My name is Jatinder Sira, and I'm a toy collector. I've always been into toy collecting ever since I was a young boy, just like most of us all are. You know, all these different old school cartoons or movies that came out, you know, anything that was connected into that, that's what I was always specifically like going for. That's what I was collecting. Star Wars was pretty big at the time as well. But my passion mainly lay in things like Transformers, G.I. Joe, you know, also known as Action Force, and Mask. And He-Man was there as well. So there was always like about 4 or 5 main sort of brands, you know, names from the old days that were always around still up to present. Then they released Marvel Legends. Now that was a whole different ballgame. Basically, Marvel Legends, you had figures that had 32 points, 36 points of articulation points right through the body itself. And you know, you could pose them in all different angles, different ways. You had variant figures coming out. So the variant figures would be really hard to get. So everybody was just buying Marvel Legends, buying all the variant figures. Everyone was on this. I bought a lot of toys. I collected a lot of toys. I came to realise that basically there were particular toys that I didn't need no more, or I didn't want out of the set that I bought. So I thought to myself, well, okay, you know, I'll sell a few off. I'll sell them off online. And then I sold them, and as I sold them I was getting more figures obviously for myself, and I had extra cash coming in from the stuff that I was already selling, so it kind of started to fund itself. And then, you know, it grew, but I specifically went out there and I gained the information from companies such as Hasbro, Mattel, NECA. Now I've been doing it for 15 years, so I've learned quite a lot about the business trade. I've come a long way from where I started to where I am now, but it's the business process that's led me all the way up here to where I am, and the knowledge that I have. But all this has happened from basically all the toys that I started collecting when I was young. Well, before I used to work the norm really, the 9 to 5 hours. But the best thing about it is that I get to do different things all the time, so I'm multitasking and I'm keeping myself active, and I find that more sort of useful in what I'm doing now. You know, keeping active, constantly working, doing things, thinking, than I did before in my old job, where I was just, you know, not really thinking much. Because when you're basically, you know, doing something, the same thing every day, then you don't really need to think much behind it, if you know what I mean. So. The thing I love about being a toy seller is seeing the different designs and the different artwork of different products coming through the business and going, you know, the appreciation. I love designs, I love art, I love expressive art, I love it all. But art, design, you know, it just makes me think, makes my head pop, you know. So many different types of thoughts come into my mind about products. It's always changing, it's never ending, you know, and so it's like I'm being sent palettes of colour every week, every month, you know, every other day, and I just love it. You know, that's what inspires me, is the design and how colours combine together, how they work, but then at the same time the tooling, the engineering of a product, how that works. So you'll have articulation points, or you might have a motorised thing going on like a Meccano set. You know, it's all great, it's all inspiring, you know. Well, the toy industry right now is at a position where it can go in any direction. It's been online for the past decade now. It's going from the shop, the retail shop that we used to have back in the old days, such as BE's, Woolworths, you know, Zodiac Toys. It's changed a lot since those days, and up to the point of where Toys R Us has closed. It's completely changed. If Toys R Us is closing, then there's something going on.
It is official, everything must go, and when it does, Toys R Us will cease to exist. Loss-making, deeply in debt, the search for a buyer has ended in failure. This is a company that failed to change with the times.
Going there, it was amazing. It was like Willy Wonka and the chocolate factory kind of thing. When I used to walk in there, it was just so colourful. I mean, there wasn't all the sweets and
candy in the world, but it was all the toys and all the design that's coming to you from other people. That's initiative, you know. It's like a you know, all the interactive stuff, the new kind of type of products that are coming out, it was all there, and it was just inspiring, you know, for your imagination. And you know, and for the kids, that's what it is. That's what life is, about imagination and being inspired to going on to doing greater things.
It's just a shame in that, because they're not going to get to experience that anymore. You know, all the new kids that are coming into the world now, you know, they won't ever get to sort of experience that. And you know, I just think it's a great shame that Toys R Us is now, you know, sort of gone from society, you know, from civilization. Now, what's happening here is that there aren't that many kids out there that are buying toys. That it could be that because of the fact that, you know, you've got phones nowadays, you've got the internet, you've got the apps, you've got apps. I mean, back in my days, video games used to cost around about £50, £40, and now you can get them for free on an app. You know, you can download it for free. So technology's changed. Technology's there, and it's there for the taking, and I think that the kids want it more. I think they're more hooked to the technology side of, you know, toys and games and computer gaming and things like that, you know. But with Toys R Us itself closing down, it doesn't mean that it's the end of toys. So toys will be around for years to come. Toys will always be around. It's all about inspiring the children. It's all about inspiring the kids to want to have the toy. How do you inspire kids to want to have a toy? Well, you create the cartoon, of course. You make a cartoon, you feed the cartoon to the kids, but your angle is that you actually want to sell the toys. So you're actually marketing toys. I think that's what a lot of, you know, movie production, cartoons, toy industries, they've lost it a bit there, because they forgot that it's actually about marketing the toy. And to market the toy's got to be exactly what the kid wants. And that's how it happened with the He-Man toys, right? They were made to be sold. They weren't, you know, made for any other reason. They were made to be sold. The toys were made first, and then the cartoon came after to sell the toy. That's how it works. It's all changing. The kids are being detached from the toy and from what it's about and what everything around it's about. So when I was young, my mum, she used to work like 2 jobs just to sort of, you know, put food on the table. My dad used to work his 1 job, but at the same time there wasn't enough money coming in, you know, and so that's why they used to buy me the cheaper toys and then buy me toys after, you know, like they were popular. So they'd probably go really cheap in Argos or Woolworths. I mean, I always wanted things like Optimus Prime, always wanted a Transformer, you know, Optimus Prime, the main character, never got it. You know, there was no point in dreaming about it or wishing, or, you know, for it. You know, the old Knight Rider car or something, or, you know, a Mr. T figure, you know, from the 18. I realised that I was missing on these figures when I was young, or I might have had them and they got lost, so I wanted them back again. So they came back into my life again. I then went on to getting more stuff, more figures. I kind of realised that basically, you know, the figures that I was after when I was young, they weren't available, you know, back then to me. But now that they're around on eBay and places like that, and different websites, I thought to myself, wow, man, I'm just gonna get that. I'm gonna get what I didn't have when I was young, or I'm gonna go get what my parents couldn't afford to get me, you know. And I remember buying like an Optimus Prime 35, almost 40 years later. And, you know, still getting that same figure, but getting it for about £35, when back then it was £25. But right now, saying that, you know, that figure right now could have gone up to good £200-300, who knows, you know. So I came to realise that basically I was buying all these sort of toys and stuff, you know, because I didn't have them when I was young. And it just led me to this point where I've got so much that you know, I ended up putting it into a business, created a business and made it into the business. And then I just kept carrying on my little hobby on the side. You know, I always have to sort of make sure that I don't buy too much, basically, as in, you know, for myself as a collector. But as I'm getting older now, I'm starting to realise that I don't really need to have enough stuff in my life, you know. I want to show you one of my amazing toys that I have, yeah? This is it. This is the best, one of the best, right? It's a masterpiece, okay? It's known as a masterpiece. Check this out. It's from my own collection. It's silver.
Let's dance in style, let's dance. can wait, we're only watching the skies, hoping for the best but expecting the worst. Are you gonna drop the bomb or not? Let us die young or let us live forever. We don't have the power but we never say never. Sitting in a sad pit, life is a short trip. The music's for the sad man. Can you remember?
Right for me though, Toy Town.
Listen to the sun, breezing our leaders. We're getting in tune. The music's played by the madman.
All the different types of things that came after as well, you know, like I can't remember. I'm not presenting a children's ITV, am I? Hello, welcome to my TV Manic show. No. Darling. Alright there, Jordan, my name is Homin Sasira and I'm coming from Glasgow. Yeah, maybe that's why Star Wars is a flipping flop, isn't it? Yeah. And I'm a toy collector. Oh my god. Don't do that. Okay.